Second to last weekend before the Virginia's governor's race election, and there are big questions if President Trump's support is enough for fellow Republican Ed Gillespie. Here are the latest polls. Well, it's a toss-up. One poll has Democrat Ralph Northam with a 7-point lead over Gillespie, 50-43. Another poll shows Gillespie in the lead, up by 8 points. Believe whichever one you want. We're going to bring in Governor George Allen of the great state of Virginia. We know which one you'd like to believe, which is for Ed Gillespie, quite literally right off the campaign trail. Yeah. Here's one of the flyers that you guys had out there.
I just introduced Ed.
Just introduced him? How was the reception?
Reception was great. It was a Fairfax pep rally breakfast, and all the candidates. Ed was there, and Jill Vogel running for lieutenant governor, and John Adams, strange name for Virginia, but Jeffersonians will be for him for attorney general. There was a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement in it. I think there's slight momentum. I'll take it from what Ed says. It's neck and neck. You have these polls that are disparate.
Because the polls were oh so accurate during the 2016 election. And
any honest pollster will tell you it is more and more difficult to get accurate polling. Yeah. And there's going to be a lower turnout than in a presidential race. And the world's controlled by those who show up. And so what our side's trying to do, and I'm sure the other is trying to get their folks out to vote. And I generally think that anybody who pays taxes, works for a living, or cares about their families would be for Ed Gillespie, because his ideas to make Virginia more competitive for jobs, I think, are ideal.
You make a very interesting point, because the points you just made are traditional conservative value, traditional conservatism points. Ed Gillespie, former chair of the RNC, conservative traditionalist candidate in every sense of the word. On the other hand, it's about as opposite of a Republican candidate as President Trump you could possibly come up with. And in many ways, though, he's running a Trump-esque campaign on the culture issues. We see a lot of the ads about his opponent are focusing on issues like immigration rather than what I'm going to do for tax cuts. Is this proving the culture war is still vibrant in Virginia?
Well, a state has certain responsibilities. One is their economic climate, taxes, regulations, energy policy, right-to-work laws. We're the furthest state north on the eastern seaboard with the right-to-work law, and that's a difference with his opponent who's not supportive of that. Then people care also about schools. They care about safety in their communities. In Northern Virginia, there have been gangs who are made up of people who are illegally in this country. And for him not to bring that up for safety in communities would actually be ignoring one of the top responsibilities of a state government. So, yes, taxes are important. Second Amendment rights are important. Public safety, schools, a variety of issues. And so Ed's talking about issues that matter to people. In fact, he's got about 18 position papers and really a well-laid-out plan for what he would do as governor, and I think he'd keep his promises.
Still, and I appreciate...
No, to say he's different than Donald Trump, well, who in the heck else is like Donald Trump? I mean, last year's election, you all covered it. It's just unprecedented historically. No one's like him.
But fair enough, though, to say...
So, yes, it's a return to normalcy.
But fair enough to say he is pulling some pages out of the Trump playbook in terms of what he's talking about on the culture issues. Noteworthy, though, that you think about how things have happened since the inauguration, that the Democrats haven't won any really meaningful special elections. If they won this, it would be significant, at least in their minds. On the other hand, if Ed Gillespie wins this, that would be extraordinarily significant as well.
It would be, in that Hillary Clinton won Virginia by about 5 or 6% of the vote. And so I think Ed's focused really on issues that matter in the communities throughout Virginia. And I know the other side's trying to demonize him with Donald Trump. People in the Hampton Roads area, though, are really happy with the buildup of the military, which is a primary role of the federal government, and ending that sequester is a good thing that's happening in Washington.
We've had the congressman on from down there a number of times talking about the support there. Well, you've been out on the trail. We know that Mike Pence has been out on the trail for Ed Gillespie.
Marco Rubio being on Monday.
All right, big names. Election coming up here in a little less than 2 weeks. Thank you, sir. Great having you.
Folks, get out to vote.
Well, that's a message everybody can agree on, right?
Right.
All right, there you go.